Hey, you're looking good today. This is Frank in the Brazil Times newsroom, and here's what's happening. First off, we start today with congratulations to Jodi Lohrman, the former Republican Party chair for Clay County, was honored at last night's Republican Club meeting. She received a plaque, a framed certificate, signed by Governor Eric Holcomb, honoring her as a distinguished Hoosier. Representative Alan Morrison, brought that to the Republican Club, and after speaking briefly about this year's General Assembly, he made a presentation to Jodi, and we're very pleased for her and for her husband. So congratulations, Jodi. That was a very, very nice thing. I know that on an opinion note, personal note, I was very impressed with Eric Holcomb when he came to Clay County campaigning for the Republican nomination as a senator. And of course, he did not get that nomination, but after interviewing all three candidates on the Republican side for Senate, I was very impressed with Mr. Holcomb, and I was personally quite surprised that he was not nominated by the Republican Party. So congratulations, Jodi, on your honor from the governor as being a distinguished Hoosier. Evelyn Brown's here. Glad to see you today, Evelyn. And on the other side of the political spectrum, the Democrats are going to be meeting Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at Kennedy Crossing, and we will be there to cover that meeting as well. In other news, new from yesterday, the $350,000 renovation of Brazil's First Christian Church is now complete. This completes our remodeling of our adult wing and worship center, said Senior Minister Chris Gregg during an open house on Sunday. 44 pews were taken out of the building and donated to Greater Faith Church and Grace Memorial Church in Indianapolis. The pews were replaced with padded chairs that can be linked together or separated and reconfigured or removed as needed. For example, one woman lost a leg 2 weeks ago. On Sunday, she returned to church in a wheelchair. An usher removed a chair, and she was able to sit in the row she chose very simply, and it was just a wonderful thing for her. You can read more about that story on our website as well. Lori Brown's here. Hey, I meant to mention Lori. Lori has those window decals that Republicans will be glad to pick up from her, and we will send them your way. Ann Bradshaw's here. Glad to see you, Ann. And Ruth Ann Jeffries is here. One of our three favorite members of the Board of Works and Safety. Ruth Ann Jeffries is here. Well, we're talking politics. That's about as diplomatic as I can get. One of our three favorite members of the Board of Public Works and Safety. Hi, Ruth Ann. And let's see, what else do we have going on here today? We have the Indiana Military Veterans Hall of Fame is seeking nominations. The Indiana Military Veterans Hall of Fame is calling for nominations for its fourth class of veteran honorees. The not-for-profit organization honors Hoosier veterans for service during and after active duty. To date, the IMVHOF, we're not going to do that. It's the Indiana Military Veterans Hall of Fame. We're not going to abbreviate it because that's pretty hard to recognize. Anyway, they have recognized 46 men and women for their outstanding military and civilian service. Up to 15 veterans will be honored for military service achievements and or community contributions. And you can find a list of our criteria, and how to nominate someone on our website. Alan Plunkett's here. Glad to see you today, Alan. And let's see, we have some other things we want to talk about today as well. Let's go back to our main page on our website. The Wellness Advisory Board is going to meet. We told you about that yesterday. Clay Community Schools Wellness Advisory Board will meet at 2:30 p.m. Tuesday to revise the school's wellness policy in the boardroom of the central office, and the public is invited to attend. And I wanted to share a couple things with you. The first is I thought was really cute. This comes from our friend Mona Klaus. She had a picture on Facebook of their cat riding on the dash of their car. Well, it's not their cat, but it's a picture that she picked up. So I told her that my Aunt Jessie and Uncle Brownie, that was their real names, had 2 or 3 cats. They named them all Punky, and each Punky rode with them on the dash of their old Nash station wagon to Florida each year. And Mona wrote back, she said, we took a kitty to our son in Florida about 11 years ago. She hated riding, but we got her there. She ended up licking Rich all over his head and in his ear. He was driving, and it was hysterical. And I'm sure it was. That's a picture I could just see, somebody driving down the interstate with a cat just loving on them all over their head and face. And we learned a new word from our dog this week, Aurora. And I did not know what Aurora meant. He started saying, Aurora, Aurora. And we couldn't figure out what he meant. I thought he wanted out. No, that wasn't it. I thought he wanted something to eat. No, that wasn't it. And then he brought me a ball, and it dawned on me that that's the sound I make when we're fighting over a ball on the floor. And when I go, Aurora, he's picking up on that. And now when he says, Aurora, I know that means play. So, and the other thing I wanted to share with you today is kind of a lesson from the internet, I guess. I got 2 emails from Great Britain yesterday. The first, naturally, it was not really addressed to me, but it was addressed to a different Frank Phillips somewhere in Great Britain, and they wanted to know if he was going to be able to come to their meeting. So I politely wrote back and said, sorry, this is the wrong person. I'm not the one you're looking for. Well, then I got a second email, and that's not too unusual. We used to get emails all the time from people thinking that the Brazil Times was located in South America. Now it only happens once or twice a year, but at any rate, this particular gentleman wrote back and was quite agitated and said, there's a chap in the USA who has your name. Would you please respond and let me know if you're coming? And so I wrote back and I said, I am in the USA. It's not me, sorry. Well, the bottom line was he wrote back and said, quite sorry. And the lesson is that there was a digit missing when he typed in my email address. Apparently the Frank Phillips he was looking for had a digit, 1 through 9, in their email address that I don't have. So we have to be careful when we're sending email. And I don't know why I brought that up, except I thought it was interesting. I'm Frank in the Brazil Times newsroom. Glad to see you, and until we meet face to face, I hope you have an outstanding day.